Good morning. Just after 6, Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, and Erin's back. Local news next.
A woman has died after driving her car into the Red River. A teenager is shot in Shreveport Sunday afternoon. And how about let's raise money for the LSU library?
I don't think there's any... Well, we'll talk about that
Okay.
because that's a topic that just won't go away. Does the $220 million bond proposal request, in your mind, does that have anything to do with those tax forms getting filled out incorrectly? Let's say incorrectly. I think it does. We will discuss. Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather, and it's here this hour coming up on KEEL.
KEEL Morning Report, now on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
A woman has died after driving her car into the Red River. Authorities still investigating the death of the elderly woman who drove the car into the river Saturday night. She's been recovered. Her car has also been recovered. A teenager shot Sunday afternoon. The 18-year-old shot in the chest near the 3100 block of Lancaster. The wounds considered life-threatening. A GoFundMe page has been set up for the LSU library. Matt Parker with that.
LSU grads, on behalf of the LSU Foundation, have started a GoFundMe page to pay for a new library on campus. According to the page, the library is well over 50 years old, has been neglected for years, and is starting to fall apart. The group hopes to raise $20 million to build a new state-of-the-art library. The organizers say that they are happy donors stepped up for the football team, but it's time for the rest of us to do our part. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
The road to the Olympics runs through Shreveport-Bossier. Volleyball tournament being held this weekend at the CenturyLink Center. The USA team, one of those participating. A private school coach arrested for allegedly having an improper relationship with a student. Stephen Weir, the head basketball coach at Riverdale Academy, has been arrested in Kentucky. He'll be brought back to our area. Super ATV's new manufacturing and distribution center in Shreveport is now open. It will employ 75 workers. The Indiana-based company specializes in aftermarket parts for ATVs and UTVs. North Louisiana Economic Partnership President Scott Martinez says Super ATV is a great addition to the sportsman's paradise.
There are lots of people with side-by-sides and ATVs here. They're always wanting to do add-ons and customize them, and having a facility like Super ATV here in Shreveport really facilitates that.
Martinez says Super ATV's new Shreveport site will support product manufacturing and delivery across the U.S. A private school coach has been arrested for having an improper relationship with a student. Stephen Weir, the head basketball coach at Riverdale Academy, has been arrested for charges related to having an improper relationship with a young person. Specific charges and details have not been released. Investigators say their work is still ongoing, and more details are expected to be released soon. Bossier police are on the hunt for a man suspected of armed robbery. The suspect believed to have held up a person at an ATM on Airline Drive. After failing to get any money from that victim, the thief is then suspected of robbing the payday loans a few blocks away. The robber there got away with an undisclosed amount of cash. Bossier police working with the sheriff's office and state police to find the suspect. New child safety seat law goes into effect August 1st, and it's considered the best in the country by safety experts. State Police Lieutenant Nick McNally says the new laws reflect some of the best practices that safety experts have pushed for years.
All the guidelines can be found on our Facebook pages, our website, and most importantly, the Louisiana Highway Safety Commission's page.
The new law requires anyone under 13 to ride in the back seat. He says the idea behind the law is not to add any more grief or inconvenience for parents, but to keep kids in protective categories even longer. A mass shooting at the Gilroy Garlic Festival in California. 3 people plus the gunman are dead. 15 people have been wounded. And they had the big World Cup of Fortnite, the video game. A 16-year-old from Pennsylvania is the ultimate winner, taking home $3 million. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
know. 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Monday morning traffic. Here's Brandon today. Here's Brandon.
So far, so good traffic-wise in the Shreveport-Bossier City area, but that may not last for long. If you see anything, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
A good chance for some afternoon showers and storms to pop up across the Arklatex later today. A mix of clouds and sunshine. Scattered thunderstorms this afternoon, 92. Thunderstorm chances will continue through the night, low 73. More storms tomorrow, 90. Wednesday, sunshine, low 90s. Richard Wettig at the Weather Channel.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. The KEEL app is a free download from Office Furniture Source. How you doing?
You know what? I'm better today than I was Thursday.
You were immobilized.
Friday, I was horrible pain.
You were immobilized.
I was in bad shape Friday. I did go see Dr. Jason on Thursday. Then
you were
again,
basically that guy in the Iron Lung and Big Lebowski.
he met me. He dropped everything and he met me at the office again on Saturday.
Yeah.
And we did a follow-up adjustment, and I think I'm on the mend. I'm still stove up a little bit.
Is that a medical term? Is that something if I went to the Mayo Clinic, for example,
well,
if I went to Johns Hopkins, if they took x-rays, would they say, Mr. Wright, we have some bad news? I'd say, what? They'd say, you're stove up, sir.
No, they would say, you're all stove up. Uh-huh.
So,
sorry, I was singing.
How
on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I can't even bend and touch my knees.
You can't do that on a regular day.
I can touch my knees.
Yeah, with Matt's hands.
Yeah, he has to push my back down. Today I'm at a 5, I guess. I don't know that I could touch the floor. I don't.
Well, you can if you tip over.
Can I tell you an embarrassing story?
Please.
Why break with tradition?
Well, when you go to a chiropractor, and Jason Maggio's at All the Way Health, and he's wonderful. You drink water after an adjustment. That's the game plan. So I had my son put a bunch of waters in the freezer to get them ice cold. I wanted them to be ice cold when I drank them. Well, a few of them froze before I drank them. And when I opened the door to the freezer to get them out, a couple of them fell on the floor, on the tile floor, thunk, 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 and they're rolling around on the floor.
It's like I'm in a Batman episode from the 60s. Thwack. Wait, that's Spider-Man.
My back is in so much pain that I kick the water bottle with my foot over to my other foot, take my slippers off, and I try to roll the water bottle up my leg with my toes because I can't bend down to pick up the water bottle.
But in all seriousness,
that's so terrible.
Okay, so what are you going to do?
Well, I started a stretching routine. I can't do much right now because of the back, but I do have a plan in place.
For somebody who always says, Matt, how many times have you heard her say, I want to be the granny that can play with her grandkids. Mm-hmm. I want to be the grandmother who can run around and chase them and play ball.
Yeah.
And
well, my grandpuppy yesterday was looking at me like I was crazy because I wasn't playing with him.
So my question is, in all seriousness, well, let me rephrase. How serious do you take this?
This is a wake-up call for me. This was a wake-up call.
When
this was like
on the starboard side of 60, can't put your shoe on.
Yeah, I could not do that. I could not pick up a bottle of water off the floor.
So what are you going to do?
And, well, I'm starting a stretching routine. I am a little concerned about, because, getting in the tub, sitting in the tub in hot water is the one thing that really helps. Really helps. But I have a big tub. I don't have a normal tub. I have a monstrosity tub.
Be careful there, Whitney.
And, yeah, getting in and out of that tub this weekend was a challenge. I do have sissy bars on it. Like, I have those sissy bars to pull yourself up.
I say to you once again.
But I'm going to stretch. I have I actually, you'll be proud of me. I looked up stretching for old people. And I can do that right now while we're sitting here. I'm doing it right now. Just lifting your heels off the floor.
Right.
Then lifting your toes off the floor.
Yeah.
Do them 10 times.
God, you're like an Olympic gymnast.
Yeah, I'm getting it.
It's Mary Lou McCarty down there.
Now, this is the hard one. Lifting your whole knee up off the floor like this. I mean, ooh. Now, that's a strain on my back right now, which I can't do right now.
Uh-huh.
But the heels and the toe, ow, even the toes just hurt a little bit. But I'm going to work on that. That's my next plan. Jason, we're on board. We're all on. I take a village. This takes a village. He asked me to. He asked me. I'm going to get him to come in this week, but he asked me the dumbest question. And you don't get it if you're not me, and if you've never been in my position. He said,
which is supine on the carpet, by the way. But go ahead.
Yeah, pretty much. He said, do sweets or do certain foods still talk to you? And I said, Jason, yes. Are you a moron? Yes.
That's a good way to get.
Bluebell shouts at me.
It's a good way to get chiropractic care.
It's all in fun, but you're one of those. He's one of those. Matt's probably one of those. You guys do not understand.
What did I say to you on Friday?
I wasn't here Friday.
Thursday. I'm sorry, Thursday. Do you remember what I said to you? No. I said, why is it that exercise and this monk-like lifestyle, why is it that a little stretching, you just don't feel like you can do a little stretching and stop there? You see a little stretching as step one to eating salad and granola and keto for the rest of your life. You just don't. I said to you on Thursday, I said, stretch for 20 minutes, have a donut.
No, you don't understand. I can't have one donut. Because the other 11 will call my name.
Stretch for 20 minutes, have Bluebell. Just stretch for 20 minutes. You think, well, if I stretch, that means I have to change my entire lifestyle and never eat anything good again, and I hate that, so I'm staying on the sofa, and I'm going to throw my back out when I take a plate out of the washing machine.
You know what I'm changing, though? I did look up something from the Mayo Clinic. It said there's one habit all Americans should change right now, today, right now.
Sleep patterns.
Nope.
What?
Never eat food with electronic devices on. Never eat watching TV. Never eat while you're on your phones.
Why?
Make time set aside for eating. Go to the table, sit down and eat. Maybe converse with your family. Maybe chat. Maybe if you're by yourself, maybe meditate on your day while you eat. Too much overeating is done while we're sitting there watching TV. Now, can I change that habit? Whew.
See what I'm talking about? All you got to do...
That's a dooming one.
Stop. With all due respect to the awesome Mr. Maggio. Just stretch for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to the salad bar all the time to start.
Right.
You don't have to eat granola every day to start. You don't have to be the Dalai Lama. Yeah. Or you don't have to live some Spartan existence. Just stretch 20 minutes. Then if you want to eat a gallon of Bluebell, for right now, eat your gallon of Bluebell. I don't care. Just stretch for 20 minutes.
Stretch for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you see this huge, overwhelming lifestyle change.
It's not that. It doesn't have to be that yet.
Stretch for 20 minutes.
Start somewhere.
Yes.
My brother told me that. He said baby steps. Take some baby steps.
That's not how you look at it. The reason that you, pardon me, fail with some degree of regularity is because you see this massive task to undertake.
And I get halfway up the mountain and I'm like, I'm never going to get to the top of Everest.
You don't have to win the Super Bowl today, TB12. Stretch for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Then eat 4 pot pies. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, oppressive government. I see government, and when I come back, when we get back, I'll tell you, I had not heard about this until you had it I heard it in your newscast. I'm talking about that car seat thing.
Oh,
that back seat thing. I think this is nothing more than the massive oppressive thumb of government, the heel of the boot on the neck of parents.
Oh, we're going to fight again.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Brandon.
So far, so good traffic-wise in the Shreveport-Bossier City area, but that may not last for long. If you see anything, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
A good chance for some afternoon showers and storms to pop up across the Arklatex later today. A mix of clouds and sunshine. Scattered thunderstorms this afternoon, 92. Thunderstorm chances will continue through the night, low 73. More storms tomorrow, 90. Wednesday, sunshine, low 90s. Richard Wettig at the Weather Channel.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Time for sports. Here's Tim.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Saints put on the pad Sunday for the first time of training camp. Unheralded, and rookie wide receiver Emmanuel Butler continued his hot start in his long shot bid to make the roster. The 6'4", 220-pound rookie out of northern Arizona has the size that Sean Payton is looking for in his wide receivers. Major League Baseball, the Astros knocked off the Cardinals 6-2. George Springer homered to lead off the game. Jose Altuve and Jordan Alvarez also dialed long distance. For Springer, it was his 7th leadoff homer of the season and 31st of his career. The Oakland A's scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th to beat Texas 6-5. Marcus Semien homered to tie it up, and then Chris Davis walked with the bases loaded to bring in the winning run. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
One 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. No, it's oppressive. That new child seat, back seat thing is insane.
Well, it's new seatbelt laws altogether.
If you're under the age of 13, you are forbidden by the state to ride in the front seat of your parents' vehicle or of any vehicle. That's oppression.
Come on.
If dad owns a Corvette, your kid can't ride in it.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
If dad owns a Jaguar 2-seater, a Porsche 2-seater, an Audi, whatever it happens to be, is it AA? I forget. Can't ride in it. Sorry. There's no back seat. That's oppression.
Here are the other new rules.
No, wait. Let's just talk about that.
Okay.
That's insane. If you have a 12-year-old child,
you're misinterpreting the law. Let me read you the law because you're wrong.
August, the way
you're wrong. Let me read it to you.
So they can ride in the front.
Yes, children younger than 13 must be in the rear seat of a vehicle when available. If there's no rear seat, they can ride in the front.
That's still.
Robert, you would have said this 30 years ago when we issued seatbelt laws?
No, I just...
Yes, so that's the same thing you're doing.
You think this is a good idea?
Anything that makes our children safer,
how does
don't
it make children safer? How does it make it...
Because
Look,
the numbers show kids get hurt.
Why not just do away? How's about a certain size? I know 12, 13-year-olds that are larger than some adult women. So maybe an adult woman under the height of 6 feet tall and under the weight of 175 pounds should not be allowed to ride in the front seat because it's added danger.
Well,
am I wrong?
The law goes farther than that. There are some weight restrictions.
My point exactly.
The children under the age of 2 must be in a rear-facing child safety seat. A child who is at least 2 and has outgrown the rear-facing seat will be restrained in a forward-facing restraint system with an internal harness. A 4-year-old child who's outgrown the forward-facing internal harness system shall be restrained in a belt-positioning child booster seat.
What was the woman who used to work
Here's
there?
another one. Wait, one more.
Go ahead.
9 years old, children who have outgrown the booster seat. 9 years old, children who have outgrown the booster seat. This is the one that everybody's going to be upset about. May use the adult safety belt fastened correctly. That's at age 9. So you have to be in a booster seat until age 9. That's not going to happen. And children younger than 13
well, of course it's
must
gonna
be
happen.
in the rear seat.
It's against the law. You will be fined, and I would
Exactly.
think rather.
And you know, when we changed the seatbelt law saying you had to buckle up, a lot of people ignored that for a while. Now guess what? We all buckle up.
What was the woman's name? Melissa. Do you remember Melissa, who used to work here? Who was literally, and
yes,
she was the smallest human being I had ever seen who wasn't the star of Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, she was a Barbie doll of a woman.
She was tiny.
She was about 4'10" and weighed about 75 pounds. Hell, Brooke's daughter, Robin, who just got married.
Yep.
Robin's 20-something. She's about 5 foot nothing and weighs 80 pounds.
Right.
Why does she get to ride in the front seat? And a 13-year-old who outweighs her by 15 or 20 or 30 pounds and is half a head taller can't. If we're really going to protect people, let's protect women. This is
protections for children.
Okay.
That's what this is
about.
about.
What I'm saying is there are some
grown-ups can make their own decisions. You're grown up, you can make your own decision. You don't have you're barren.
Maybe you as a parent should be allowed to make decisions for your children.
Well, because a lot of parents don't know that kids get hurt in the front seat. Kids get hurt in front-facing car seats.
Because they are
uneducated. They don't know.
No. Children, if those statistics are true, children are more likely to be injured if they're riding in the front seat because
they're smaller.
So what about women who are smaller? Oh, that's all I'm saying.
They're grown-ups. They can make the decision on their own.
You're the parent. Maybe you should have control of your own home. That's all. How far does
many parents don't know the dangers.
Maybe we should have state-run cameras in your house.
Oh, God.
To be sure that your kids aren't running up and down the stairs or playing unobserved or you get the idea. We live in a world where you get arrested if you go to the mall and your kid wanders off when you're not looking.
Mm-hmm. I know.
If you're home and your kid leaves your yard and wanders down the street, you've abandoned your child. No, this is oppression in the worst way.
Oh my
1017 FM, 710 KEEL traffic time. Here's Ruben.
So far, so good traffic-wise in the Shreveport-Bossier City area, but that may not last for long. If you see anything, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
A good chance for some afternoon showers and storms to pop up across the Arklatex later today. A mix of clouds and sunshine. Scattered thunderstorms this afternoon, 92. Thunderstorm chances will continue through the night, low 73. More storms tomorrow, 90. Wednesday, sunshine, low 90s. Richard Wettig at the Weather Channel.
Information. KEEL News now.
Festival goers ran in terror as they tried to get away from a gunman who opened fire at the Garlic Festival in Gilroy, California, just outside of San Jose. One woman says her boss and her boss's husband were among the victims.
She got shot in the leg, and she's at the hospital in surgery. Her husband got shot 3 times. 3 times, and he's in the hospital right now in critical condition.
At least 4 people have died, including the gunman, 15 others wounded. A manhunt underway for a second suspect. LSU grads, on behalf of the LSU Foundation, have started a GoFundMe page to pay for a new library on campus. According to the page, the library is well over 50 years old. It's been neglected for years and is starting to fall apart. The group is hoping to raise $20 million to build a new state-of-the-art library. The organizers say their happy donors stepped up for the football team, but it's time for the rest of us to do our part. A woman has died after driving her car into the Red River. Authorities still investigating the death of the elderly woman who drove the car into the river Saturday night. She's been recovered. Her car has also been recovered. A teenager shot Sunday afternoon. The 18-year-old shot in the chest near the 3100 block of Lancaster. The wounds considered life-threatening. The road to the Olympics runs through Shreveport-Bossier. Matt Parker has that.
A volleyball tournament at the CenturyLink Center this weekend will determine one of the teams who will be playing in the 2020 Olympics. This is one of only 6 qualifying events in the world, and it is the first one to ever be held in the United States. The global event will be televised on NBC Sports and is expected to have a $1.2 million economic impact on our area. For more details on the event, visit our website, KEELnews.com. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Nationwide, people struggle to save money. A CNBC survey shows 75% of Americans refuse to seek out help regarding financial planning. Financial advisor Pete Bush believes there are a variety of reasons why.
You could equate it to going to see the doctor for an annual physical or something like that. Maybe it's embarrassment, maybe it's fear of the good, bad, and the ugly that they may hear from an advisor or something like that.
Bush says financial advising is all about confidence. Saints quarterback Drew Brees is going through his 19th training camp, and Hoodats hope it's not his last in black and gold. But Brees says he's continuing to fight the signs of aging.
I feel like I'm pretty aware of what you lose with the aging process, right? And so everything I do from a training perspective, recovery perspective, is to combat that, right? And so you just try to stay ahead of that curve, right? Stay ahead of that curve. And so far, I feel like I'm beating it.
The 40-year-old Brees is the 4th oldest player in the NFL. Bossier police are looking for an armed robber. Suspect believed to have held up a person at an ATM on Airline Drive. The thief also accused of robbing the payday loans a few blocks away. And speaking of robbers, they're looking for the Pink Lady Bandit. This is now a nationwide search. The woman who usually carries a pink purse has robbed at least 4 banks in 3 states. She's gotten away in each case. Her last holdup was in North Carolina. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Really?
Yep.
So you dreamed you were at Ford's Theater in the box with Abraham Lincoln in the president's box, but you didn't know it was coming.
I was just sitting there enjoying the play.
So you knew you were there at Ford's Theater. You looked to your left. There's Abraham Lincoln, but you didn't know that Booth was coming.
No. In fact, I was just, God, it's so cool. I'm in a booth with the president. Pow!
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Okay, speaking of lawlessness.
This is hilarious. There's been a guy arrested by Shreveport police. His name is Dontavius Washington. He's 22 years old. I'm not sure. The arrest was early this morning or last night. I guess last night.
What was the location of this apprehension?
Let me read the description because I'm not sure the location. I'll have to do some more
Probably
studying.
not. Well, go ahead.
This is the probable cause statement as written by the police officer. While stumbling, walking on the sidewalk, suspect approached uniformed police officers on a police horse and began slapping the horse on the butt numerous times. Suspect was charged with public drunk and battery on an officer.
So the horse has been sworn in?
The horse is a police officer, I guess.
An
I don't know.
extension of that policeman's body.
Yes.
Like a centaur.
He's beating on the horse's butt.
Yeah.
You know, that's drunk, Robert. That's way beyond drunk. Wow.
Says the woman who sexually molested a statue.
Yeah.
Wait, the statute of limitations has run out. That was me, but it's over. Can't be charged with that.
Telling Huddy to cough twice. 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Okay, when we get back.
He has a firm butt, by the way.
The Shreveport, it's granite. Stop. When we get back, you've heard the term deep state, right?
Yeah.
What if we have a deep state right here in Shreveport?
Ooh.
Traffic time, here's Brandon.
So far, so good traffic-wise in the Shreveport-Bossier City area, but that may not last for long. If you see anything, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
A good chance for some afternoon showers and storms to pop up across the Arklatex later today. A mix of clouds and sunshine. Scattered thunderstorms this afternoon, 92. Thunderstorm chances will continue through the night, low 73. More storms tomorrow, 90. Wednesday, sunshine, low 90s. Richard DeWetta, Get the Weather Channel.
Looking pensive for the camera. Did you see the photo I put up of us from last week?
No, I did not.
In the middle of the Sharika Fields-Jones interview?
I did not.
It looks like we're the two smartest people in the world.
Wow.
Our degree of intensity is probably, it's...
Where'd you get that picture?
Yeah, I just freeze-framed Photoshop. 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, Shreveport Security Systems text line, 318-392-1884. Okay, so I asked you at the top of the hour tease, and we'll tie this together. Is the request, in your mind, is the Perkins administration asking for $220 million, a $220 million bond proposal? I guess, first of all, it has to get past the city council, which will be next month.
Mm-hmm.
Just needs 4 votes out of 7. Is 4 votes out of 7, and then it will be on the ballot in October,
the
or
October,
November.
the
Is
October
it the first
election.
Are you sure? Or
Positive.
You're 100%. It's the October, not the November.
100%.
So it's the general election, not the runoff if it happens. Okay. Is that request? Is that 200?
No, I'm not 100%. Now that you say that, I'm like, well, which one was it, Matt?
I think it's November.
It might be November.
I think
you
it's
might be
going.
right.
I think because that was one of the, for lack of a better term, look, Matt can look it up because that's what he does. 2, 3, 4. Because
he's good at the Google.
Because as I recall, one of the criticisms was, why are you doing at the runoff election where there will in fact be fewer
voters? Yeah, you got a point. I think you might be right. I think
it goes back
November.
to the original. We can track down the initial
I think
city
you're right.
council motion or whatever. Mm-hmm. But what I was going to ask was, is in your mind in any way, yes, Parkey?
It will be the November 16th
So
election.
it's the runoff election.
Yeah.
With fewer voters.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting choice.
And I think because the timing was off.
Can the city council, because it has to be a full 6 months, can the city council change that?
They can change the election. I don't think they can get it to the October ballot. They can push it down the road.
No, that would have been too soon, I think. But my question is this. Is in any way the Perkins administration request for $220 million bond issue in any way related to this mess going back to the Tyler and I guess Ms. Jones said the Glover administration filling out the tax forms wrong?
I don't think it's related.
Do
no.
you see a link between
I
those
don't.
two? Okay. Is in your mind, are the answers that Ms. Jones, City CAO Sharika Field Jones, are the answers that she gave us last week pertaining to the inability of the city to handle tax forms going back, she said, more than a decade, is in your mind the city's, did she give you confidence based on what she told us? Are you 100% sure that that problem is fixed? To the degree that you would be willing to trust the political machine, not the political machine, the bureaucratic machine that is City Hall to correctly handle and distribute $220 million. Do you feel good about it?
No.
I'm not blaming Mayor Perkins. This goes back, according to Ms. Jones, more than 10 years. Mm-hmm. This is not on the Perkins administration, although because of the outside audit that was done, it came to light.
Right.
Because of the $189,000 fine heaped upon us by the state of Louisiana, it came to light. So it does, in fact, fall on the Perkins administration to clean it up.
Yes.
Okay? So, are you 100% at ease? If it came down to, I'm going to vote yay or nay on that $220 million bond proposal, your yes or no vote comes down to, let's just pretend for a second, your yes or no vote comes down to how confident you are that the bureaucratic machine that is the city of Shreveport can correctly handle and distribute that $220 million.
No, I'm concerned about it. I have strong concerns about it.
So they are connected. So there is a link between
There's a link between that and the insurance deal. There's a link between how we handle our water bills. It all links. How competent are we in managing
let's just not call
everything?
Let's not call it a we. Let us, for the sake of this conversation, call it an it. How many times have I sat here and have you heard me say, when you look at the bureaucracy of state government in Baton Rouge, which is so overwhelmingly large, and I've said how many times, let's assume for the moment that everybody in state government is honest. Let's assume, play the game. Mm-hmm. They're honest and above board and have nothing in their hearts and or minds but the best for the citizens of Louisiana. They want to do a good job, and they want to be honest and fair.
Right.
The problem is that the size of the machine is so great that no matter what the intentions of the operators, if you will, of the machine is so big, so is ponderous the right word, so massive. It just runs by itself. Is there really anything that anybody can do to keep the machine from continuing on? And do we, right here in Shreveport, Do we have our own little deep state? Do we have this machine that nobody can do anything about? This has gone on for more than a decade.
It has.
And nobody knew. The machine just keeps on turning and plodding forward. And if you stand in front of it, you just get squashed.
And especially if you've never been involved in such a machine, in running a government, where you have a mayor who's never held a political office before. I mean...
Okay, so what's the learning curve? What's the learning curve? Once again, let's assume for our little story here that everybody is honest and above board and has the best wishes of the citizenry at heart. What's the learning curve on learning how the machine works?
Whew.
And until you figure out the machine...
It's going to take you at least a year.
Until you figure out the machine and can somehow miraculously perhaps streamline the machine, should you feed the machine another $220 million? 1017 FM, 710 KEEL traffic update now. Here's Brandon.
So far, so good traffic-wise in the Shreveport-Bossier City area, but that may not last for long. If you see anything, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
A good chance for some afternoon showers and storms to pop up across the Arklatex later today. A mix of clouds and sunshine. Scattered thunderstorms this afternoon, 92. Thunderstorm chances will continue through the night, low 73. More storms tomorrow, 90. Wednesday, sunshine, low 90s. We're treated well at the Weather Channel.
.117 FM, 710 KEEL Sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Saints put on the pad Sunday for the first time of training camp. Unheralded, and rookie wide receiver Emmanuel Butler continued his hot start in his long shot bid to make the roster. The 6'4", 220-pound rookie out of northern Arizona has the size that Sean Payton is looking for in his wide receivers. Major League Baseball, the Astros knocked off the Cardinals 6-2. George Springer homered to lead off the game. Jose Altuve and Jordan Alvarez also dialed long distance. For Springer, it was his 7th leadoff homer of the season and 31st of his career. The Oakland A's scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th to beat Texas 6-5. Marcus Semien homered to tie it up, and then Chris Davis walked with the bases loaded to bring in the winning run. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Hang on, I'm looking for something here. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Bear with me just a second. New bumper music will be in this week from... Ooh, I found a great Stevie Ray Vaughan I want to put in.
Nice.
Heard of a band called The Dreamers?
I have.
I heard Die Happy. That's going in. There's one more. Okay, you can pronounce this. The band is called The Spinanes. Have I got that right? Spinanes. You know all that music stuff.
You got me on that one.
That was one I heard. That was awesome. There's one or two more, too. I am so cool. So, you had something down there. You were waving frantically. Who's coming up in the 7 o'clock hour and when?
Well, 7:30 to 8 o'clock. We're going to have the folks from juvenile court. I know Lucinda Miles is coming.
It's about damn time. I hope they're listening.
They're going to be here to talk about trauma to the brain for children who are in homes that are
crisis situations, let's say.
Yeah, and how we're now linking kids that grow up in those sorts of homes to
the ability to learn, or
yes,
more specifically, not learn.
Their cognitive skills, how they need more attention, and now the program is finally coming to Caddo schools. And they're going to address these kids that are suffering from this trauma that they finally are able to identify. And I know some people may say, oh, it's just, they just need to suck it up, Buttercup. No, imagine if you're 2 or 3 years old and you've suffered. And
you live in a war zone.
Yeah. They're saying it is much like PTSD.
Or as Donald Trump called it, Baltimore.
Yeah.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Rush Limbaugh.
Are attacking him for being tough on crime when he was a senator. In 1992, Biden pushed a crime bill that he bragged did everything but hang people for jaywalking. Then Biden supported the 1994 crime bill signed by Bill Clinton. That law is blamed for increased prison rates among black men. So when the Democrats gathered at the NAACP convention, Cory Booker went for the jugular. He told Biden that it wasn't enough to tell African Americans what he was going to do for their communities. He needed to show them what he's done for the last 40 years. Now, that was a Spartacus moment. Cory Booker's challenge should be given to every Democrat. Why are the people who elected Democrats to solve their problems 40 years ago still complaining about the exact same problems today? Why are their schools still failing? Why is crime so high? Why were unemployment rates so high for 40 years until President Trump came along? Why is every blue city a disaster when Democrats have been running them for decades? If they answered Cory Booker's questions truthfully, Democrats would be out of business. Tackle is the name of an app that you're going to want to download and use. Tackle connects you with thousands of people who can help you with chores that you need help with around the home or office. Yard work, cleaning, packing, mounting TVs. You name it, Tackle has the people in your area to help you do it. Now, users love this service. Tackle has over 23,000 reviews in Apple's App Store and an average rating of 4.8 stars. Get the help you need fast. Same day in most areas. Download the Tackle app. You spell it T-A-K-L. In just a couple of minutes, you can schedule a Tackle provider to help with the project you have been putting off. Pricing is preset, so there's no haggling, and you know exactly what you're paying for. Make sure you use my name, happens to be Rush, as the promo code and get 15% off your first project. Download the Tackle app, T-A-K-L, at the Apple Store.
Get news, weather, traffic, right here. Breaking news and trending talk is on 101.7 FM and 710 Keel.
So far, so good traffic-wise in the Shreveport-Bossier City area, but that may not last for long. If you see anything, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
A good chance for some afternoon showers and storms to pop up across the Arklatex later today. A mix of clouds and sunshine. Scattered thunderstorms this afternoon, 92. Thunderstorm chances will continue through the night, low 73. More storms tomorrow, 90. Wednesday, sunshine, low 90s. Richard Weddick at the Weather Channel.
Rush Limbaugh, the authority for all things right. Weekdays from 11 to 2 on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Breaking news and trending talk. KEEL, 710 AM and K269GO, 101.7 FM, Shreveport.
Good morning, just after 7 o'clock, Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, and Erin and local news in moments.
Another shooting in our community. A teenager is wounded. We'll talk more about that. Saints quarterback Drew Brees says he's still got it, even though he's 40 years old. And we'll talk about the new seatbelt laws that go into effect on Thursday.
Yeah, we need to talk about that in just a couple of seconds. Trying to track down
Todd Toma, the coroner, he's done a lot of this highway traffic safety study stuff.
And who's in at 7:30?
We have the folks from juvenile court to talk about trauma and children.
Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather, and it's all coming up this hour right here on KEEL.
Report. Now on 1017 FM and 710 Keel.
A woman dies after driving her car into the Red River. We get details from Matt Parker.
Authorities are still investigating the death of an elderly woman who drove her car into the Red River Saturday night. According to reports, the woman went into the Red near Cyport just before 7 p.m. A short time later, the woman's body was recovered. At this time, investigators are still working to determine how the woman ended up in the river. Her name has not yet been released. From 1017 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
A teenager recovering after being shot Sunday afternoon. The 18-year-old man was shot in the chest near the 3100 block of Lancaster. The teen's wounds are considered life-threatening. A private school coach has been arrested for allegedly having an improper relationship with a student. Stephen Weir, the head basketball coach at Riverdale Academy, arrested for charges related to having an improper relationship with a teenager. Specific charges and details have not yet been released. LSU grads, on behalf of the LSU Foundation, have started a GoFundMe page to pay for a new library. According to the page, the library is 50 years old plus. It's been neglected for years. The group is hoping to raise $20 million to build a new state-of-the-art library. The organizers say they're happy donors stepped up for the football team, but it's time for the rest of us to now do our part. 3 nonpartisan good government groups have joined forces in an effort to get the candidates for governor and the legislature to discuss details on what they plan to do if elected. The Council for a Better Louisiana is one of the organizations involved in resetting Louisiana's future. Cable President Barry Irwin says,
You know, there's a lot of rhetoric during campaigns. There's a lot of distractions from candidates of all stripes. What we're trying to do is say there's some important issues facing our state, and we want to try and keep people focused on those, and actually the public as well.
So far in the governor's race, the candidates have not provided much when it comes to their plan on improving our state. A volleyball tournament at the Century Link Center this weekend will determine one of the teams who will be playing in the 2020 Olympics. This is one of only 6 qualifying events in the world. You can get details on our website, keelnews.com. A new child safety seat law goes into effect August 1st. It's considered the best in the country by safety experts. State Police Lieutenant Nick Manali says the idea behind the law is not to add any more grief or inconvenience for parents, but to keep kids in protective categories even longer.
And that's going to be the trend that you're going to see with the changes in the guidelines, is that we want to keep children rear-facing for longer. We want to keep children in that 5-point harness and that forward-facing seat for longer.
The new law requires anyone under 13 to ride in the back seat. And a grasshopper invasion in Las Vegas. It's such a problem that you can actually see it on weather radar. It looked like a torrential downpour. It's not what it was a grasshopper invasion. I'm Erin McCarty on 1017 FM and 710 Keel.
FM, 710 Keel. 1017 FM, 710 Keel. A lot of slurring going on lately. I'll slur Erin in just a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, here's Brandon.
So far, so good traffic-wise in the Shreveport-Bossier City area, but that may not last for long. If you see anything, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
A good chance for some afternoon showers and storms to pop up across the Arklatex later today. A mix of clouds and sunshine. Scattered thunderstorms this afternoon, 92. Thunderstorm chances will continue through the night, low 73. More storms tomorrow, 90. Wednesday, sunshine, low 90s. Richard DeWetta, get the Weather Channel.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. The Keel app is always, underline always, a free download from Office Furniture Source. Caddo Parish Coroner Dr. Todd Toma here for a little bit. Hey, Todd, how you been, amigo? What's new?
I'm good, Robert. Not much.
Me neither. Now, you heard our segment earlier this morning where we basically were arguing about the value of the new state seatbelt law, and you sent Erin a text. First of all, you've got more than a little background in this. Tell us what that is and where you were and what you did.
Well, those of you who don't know, I'm also an emergency physician, not just the coroner in Caddo Parish. And I spent 2 years, about 10 years ago, in Washington, D.C., doing a fellowship in traffic safety. I worked at the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration for 2 years.
So you know all about safety on the roads and what is dangerous and what can kill people.
I go all around the country lecturing on that, Erin.
Okay. The law has been changed. A couple of controversial points are children under age 2 have to be in a rear-facing child safety seat. Why is that important?
Well, we always had a law where under the age of 1, they were in a rear-facing child safety seat. That is the safest form of transportation, bar none. The reason for that is when they turn their back and you're in a wreck, all of the energy is dispersed over their entire back, not just on the seat belts that are on the front part of it. We put the rear-facing child safety seat in the back, and it's a law that it's required to be in the back seat of the car because it has to get away from the airbag. One of the things people don't understand is the airbag is a supplemental restraint system. It has SRS written on it. It's designed to work with seat belts. And when an airbag goes off, it deploys at about 200 miles per hour in about 1/25th of a second. It's a very, very violent explosion. So the idea is put kids, as long as you possibly can, in the safest form of transportation, which is a rear-facing child safety seat. The reason it wasn't 2 before was because we made smaller rear-facing child safety seats that couldn't accommodate a 2-year-old. Now they're bigger and they're better, and we can accommodate a child up to the age of 2 in a rear-facing child safety seat without them being at any higher risk. So once they've reached the age of 2 and you have to turn them around, they put them in a forward-facing child safety seat, which has a 5-point restraint on it, over both shoulders, across the lap, and one between the legs. That's what NASCAR drivers have. Mm-hmm. So the idea is it's a better form of restraint. So you keep a child in a forward-facing child safety seat until you can't do that again. Now, I heard part of what the controversy was that you guys were talking about was once they get past that stage, kids don't want to be in a booster seat.
Nope.
Well, the idea about a booster seat, if you stop and think about it, kids that are too small, when you put a lap belt on them, it comes up on the soft part of their stomach. And when you hook up the shoulder harness, it goes across the soft part of their neck. So when they're in a wreck, that seat belt submarines into the abdomen and into the neck and increases the amount of damage that can be done to the child. The idea when you put them in a booster seat is to let the seat belt drop down on their pelvis, on the bony part, and to let the lap belt come down onto their clavicle and their breastbone, so that when they're in a wreck, it's able to stop them. So once a child has grown to a period where they're tall enough, then they can sit in a regular seat, put a seatbelt and a shoulder harness on, and it'll be on the bony parts of their body and protect them.
Todd, Robert's got a big problem with that 13 in the back.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you the reason behind that, Robert, and there's a long story. I won't do that. But the bottom line is when you put an unrestrained person in the front seat of an automobile, what happens is most wrecks have pre-impact braking, meaning that you slam on your brakes. And when you do, everything gets thrown forward. So people get thrown closer to the dashboard. And when they get thrown closer to the dashboard, then they hit something. The airbag deploys at 200 miles per hour, and it kills people. So if you can get 10 inches away from the airbag, you're not at increased risk. So if you can put a piece of paper between you and the airbag, you're at no increased risk. But the problem is that you can't tell people all that. So for the last It's been at least 15, 20 years. NHTSA has said everybody under the age of 13 rides in the backseat of an automobile. And the reason they do that is because everybody's safer in the backseat of an automobile. It gives you an increased stopping distance, so you've got longer time to stop. So everyone's safer in the backseat, and they just tell people, let's put the child in the backseat. Now they're going to make it a law.
But I know a lot of 12-year-olds that are larger than a lot of grown women? Why don't we just do it by size? And I'm being kind of serious now.
Oh,
Why
I know
not just
you
a
are, but how
size
would
limit?
that would be too hard to enforce, Robert. You've got a problem with that. So what they're trying to do now is just say, let's put kids in a place where they're the safest that they possibly can be. You're right. There are some 13-year-olds that weigh 65 pounds, and there's some that weigh 300 pounds. I mean, it's a big difference. But you can't just enforce a law that says you have to be 4'6" and 85 pounds to be able to ride in the front seat of an automobile. So they just, as a general rule, say, let's put kids in the safest place that they can possibly be, and when they reach the age of 13, they can go in the front seat of an automobile.
Now, I'm not trying to be absurd or silly here. Would we be at some point better served if we redesigned vehicles where, I mean, obviously, if the back seat is safer, then would we be better served if there were a lot more distance between the front seat and the front of the vehicle? So
well, the problem that you've got there, we've already been doing that, Robert. If you stop and think about the front seat of an automobile, when you're in a bad wreck, there are side curtain airbags, there are side door airbags, there are knee bolster airbags under the dashboard, and there are airbags in both the dashboard and the steering wheel. So what we try to do is compartmentalize that front seat, because somebody has to drive the automobile. And when you're there and there's a shorter stopping distance between you and the steering wheel, or shorter stopping distance between you and the dashboard, we try to put some type of protection in there. And that's what the airbags are designed to do. Believe me, the engineers that do that are brilliant people.
Can you
Every
imagine?
time we ever go to them with a problem, they come up with a solution.
Can you imagine a scenario? And once again, I'm not poking fun here. Can you imagine a scenario where a state legislature, California, New York, Massachusetts, Louisiana, can you imagine a scenario where a state legislature would mandate that everybody under the age of, say, 12 had to wear a helmet?
You mean at all times?
In a car, yeah.
Oh, I can't imagine that can happen, but once again, that's going a little too far. You're right. People do die from head injury, but it's not the major cause of death in motor vehicle collisions. The major cause of death in motor vehicle collisions are multiple blunt force trauma and internal injuries from the deceleration. They do mandate helmets on motorcycles and bicycles, as you already know, because the major cause of death in that is going to be head injuries. But you're right. Once again, 5-point restraints. You could put a law in there that said that everybody that gets in the front seat of an automobile has to put on the same 5-point restraints that NASCAR has. But they're not going to end up doing that.
Let me ask you one last question. If a car only has 2 seats in the front, can a child younger than 13 get in that front seat?
Yes, if there's no back seat, they can. And in fact, if you stop and think about this, they've been doing this for a lot of years. Trucks that only have 2 front seats, if you put a rear-facing child safety seat in the front seat of that automobile, there by law is a button or knob to be able to turn the airbag off. You actually depower the airbag on that side when you've got a rear-facing child safety seat in there. Because once again, we already know that's how children get killed. They get killed because either them or the rear-facing child safety seat gets too close to the airbag when it deploys.
Todd Toma, Caddo Parish Coroner, thanks for your time this morning.
Great stuff,
You're
my friend.
welcome.
Great talking to you. See you soon for sure.
All right, buddy. Take care.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic time. Here's Brandon.
So far, so good traffic-wise in the Shreveport-Bossier City area, but that may not last for long. If you see anything, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
A good chance for some afternoon showers and storms to pop up across the Arklatex later today. A mix of clouds and sunshine. Scattered thunderstorms this afternoon, 92. Thunderstorm chances will continue through the night, low 73. More storms tomorrow, 90. Wednesday, sunshine, low 90s. We're Richard Weddick at the Weather Channel.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Saints put on the pad Sunday for the first time of training camp. Unheralded, and rookie wide receiver Emmanuel Butler continued his hot start in his long shot bid to make the roster. The 6'4", 220-pound rookie out of northern Arizona has the size that Sean Payton is looking for in his wide receivers. Major League Baseball, the Astros knocked off the Cardinals 6-2. George Springer homered to lead off the game. Jose Altuve and Jordan Alvarez also dialed long distance. For Springer, it was his 7th leadoff homer of the season and 31st of his career. The Oakland A's scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th to beat Texas 6-5. Marcus Semien homered to tie it up, and then Chris Davis walked with the bases loaded to bring in the winning run. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
I'm such a hypocrite. God, I hate myself. I'm hanging my head. Do I look ashamed? Do I look like I'm self-flagellating down here?
Yeah.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright, and Erin McCarty. Okay, so Todd was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Todd's a sharp cat.
Changed
boy.
your mind, didn't he?
No. Well, yeah, kinda. I mean, look, I understand. I understand the point. I understand the purpose. But when government regulations are never ending. So, yeah, he'll say at one point, they won't really put helmets on kids. Well, you know what? They're considering that in a few states. I'm not saying they will. I'm not saying they will in Louisiana. But look at me in the eye. This one, my good one. Can you look at me and be 100% sure? Could you say to me with 100% certainty that a state legislature in a far left-leaning state, California, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, can you tell me that they would never consider, never debate, mandating that children under the age of, say, 13 in a motor vehicle had to wear helmets?
I don't think they'd go that far. I don't think so. They might go the far of the 5-point harness.
And why not
I
just
could see that.
A HON device in every vehicle?
I could see that.
Make the front end of the car like it was in the 1930s. Make them 200 feet long. Make everything the back seat.
I mean, if I told you in 1950, you think the government will ever mandate that you must wear a seatbelt in your car? You'd have said, no, they're never going to tell me what to do.
So why am I a hypocrite in all of this? Because me, the same guy that sits here and derides state legislatures for mandating, for oppressing the citizenry with whatever sort of vehicle restraints, is the same guy that little kids shouldn't play football.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Shouldn't parents decide that? Shouldn't that be up to parents if you want to use the same theory you're using?
Actually, the parents do have that right now. The fact that the YMCA said we're not going to have tackle football.
Well, there's a lot of people that want it gone altogether.
Well, there's a lot of people that look, I'm in favor of what the Y did. If you decide at the age of 5, maybe your kids shouldn't be in full pads smashing into other 5-year-olds, I'm 100% with that. I don't think that the Louisiana State Legislature should say, let's ban all tackle football for kids under the age of 13.
I just think whatever we have to do to make our kids safer
No, wait.
is what we need to do.
Wait. What was that? Whatever?
Whatever we have to do to
So
make our
helmets would
children
make them
safer.
safer. Are you coming out for helmets? Erin McCarty, helmet advocate.
Yeah. No, because that's a little extreme.
Okay, so it's not whatever we have to do.
That's a little extreme.
So
you can
immediate-
you can keep them safe in a car if they're properly buckled up.
Whatever we have to do, as long as it doesn't infringe on what you think your rights are.
No, the helmet's a little extreme. What do you want them to wear? Iron underwear too?
Look, I'm just asking you where government should stop. That we debate that all the time. Where should government stop? Obviously, they don't stop at the door of your vehicle.
No.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Traffic update right now. Here's Ruben.
So far, so good traffic-wise in the Shreveport-Bossier City area, but that may not last for long. If you see anything, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
A good chance for some afternoon showers and storms to pop up across the Arklatex later today. A mix of clouds and sunshine. Scattered thunderstorms this afternoon, 92. Thunderstorm chances will continue through the night, low 73. More storms tomorrow, 90. Wednesday, sunshine, low 90s. Richard Wettig at the Weather Channel.
Information. KEEL News now.
Festival goers ran in terror as they tried to get away from a gunman who opened fire at the Garlic Festival in Gilroy, California, just outside of San Jose. One woman says her boss and her boss's husband were among the victims.
She got shot in the leg, and she's at the hospital in surgery. Her husband got shot 3 times, and he's in the hospital right now in critical condition.
At least 4 people have died, including the gunman, 15 others wounded. A manhunt underway for a second suspect. LSU grads, on behalf of the LSU Foundation, have started a GoFundMe page to pay for a new library on campus. According to the page, the library is well over 50 years old. It's been neglected for years and is starting to fall apart. The group is hoping to raise $20 million to build a new state-of-the-art library. The organizers say they're happy donors stepped up for the football team, but it's time for the rest of us to do our part. A woman has died after driving her car into the Red River. Authorities still investigating the death of the elderly woman who drove the car into the river Saturday night. She's been recovered. Her car has also been recovered. A teenager shot Sunday afternoon. The 18-year-old shot in the chest near the 3100 block of Lancaster. The wounds considered life-threatening. The road to the Olympics runs through Shreveport-Bossier. Matt Parker has that.
A volleyball tournament at the CenturyLink Center this weekend will determine one of the teams who will be playing in the 2020 Olympics. This is one of only 6 qualifying events in the world, and it is the first one to ever be held in the United States. The global event will be televised on NBC Sports and is expected to have a $1.2 million economic impact on our area. For more details on the event, visit our website, keelnews.com. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Nationwide, people struggle to save money. A CNBC survey shows 75% of Americans refuse to seek out help regarding financial planning. Financial advisor Pete Bush believes there are a variety of reasons why.
You could equate it to going to see the doctor for an annual physical or something like that. Maybe it's embarrassment, maybe it's fear of the good, bad, and the ugly that they may hear from an advisor or something like that.
Bush says financial advising is all about confidence. Saints quarterback Drew Brees is going through his 19th training camp, and Houdats hope it's not his last in black and gold. But Brees says he's continuing to fight the signs of aging.
I feel like I'm pretty aware of what you lose with the aging process, right? And so everything I do from a training perspective, recovery perspective, is to combat that, right? And so you just try to stay ahead of that curve, right? Stay ahead of that curve. And so far, I feel like I'm beating it.
The 40-year-old Brees is the fourth oldest player in the NFL. Bossier police are looking for an armed robber. Suspect believed to have held up a person at an ATM on Airline Drive. The thief also accused of robbing the payday loans a few blocks away. And speaking of robbers, they're looking for the Pink Lady Bandit. This is now a nationwide search. The woman, who usually carries a pink purse, has robbed at least 4 banks in 3 states. She's gotten away in each case. Her last holdup was in North Carolina. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, Shreveport Security Systems text line 318-392-1884. In studio for a little bit, and you guys were talking off the air, and I kind of knew what this was going to be about, but then you took a turn, and this is so far over my head that I'm going to let you ask most of the questions, and I'll just yell comments. Listen to Miles, Volunteers for Youth Justice, and a number of other things. What does that mean? What are you by profession?
By profession, I think now we're looking at it more. We are redefining the role, actually, that I am with Volunteers for Youth Justice. No. Definitely not a counselor. I work with trauma outreach, and it's called TBRI primarily, which stands for Trust-Based Relational Intervention, which was rolls out from TCU and the Karen Purvis Childhood Development and Dr. David Cross. They began exploring in the very early 2000s.
What is that, though?
Trust-based relational intervention is understanding that our children and our families that come from hard places, in other words, that have experienced complex trauma, the trauma narrative has rearranged how their brain actually thinks. And by understanding how trauma affects the brain, we are able to train and empower our foster parents, our bio parents on skill sets that literally help to regulate these children when they have triggers.
This is sort of, for lack of a better word, extension of when Erin and I visited the Justice Center, and we were talking with judges Young and Matlock, and they were attempting to explain to us that so many of the kids that come into that situation that they literally are suffering from because of their backgrounds, PTSD.
Oh, absolutely.
Explain that a little bit, please.
Well, when a child has experienced trauma, and I'm talking about layers of trauma, through that again, their brain doesn't, those neurotransmitters that connect the left and the right hemisphere, they don't react like perhaps yours would or mine would. So when the children get reintroduced, so to speak, to their trauma, let's say they've come into that court environment and they might have a trigger. They might see an individual, they might be sitting in the courtroom and remember the last time that they heard that they wouldn't see a parent for a while. And these are triggers, and they are unable to process those triggers from the point of technically up in the prefrontal cortex, where they are able to be calm and peaceful about it. So we hope to, with this calming studio that we now have just done the grand opening on, that we are able to regulate these children.
Claire Cox, you are a foster parent, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You are the foster parent of 1, 2, 5, 11?
5.
Seriously?
Gee whiz.
Yes, sir.
What?
Yes.
Why?
I have 5 children.
Why?
That's a really good question. We just want to serve these children. We're willing and open.
You and your husband, right?
Yes.
And you've got 5?
We have
What
5
age? What
children.
age range?
1, 3, 5, and 13.
What do you see in terms of the trauma they have been through? Is it very apparent?
Oh, yes. One of my daughters, she's 3, and she's just learning to say a few words. And that comes from the complex trauma that happened before she was born, so in her mother's womb, and then the severe abuse that happened after she was born. And we don't think about that a lot, right? When children come from hard places, we think maybe they'll have a temper or all these different things, but it actually affects her speech, her development, her ability to walk.
Lucinda, let me ask you this, because you talked about the trauma too. It changes how they learn, and we're now finally realizing we've got to change the programs in our public schools for these children. Is that on the way?
Oh, it absolutely is. I am thrilled to say that Caddo Parish schools have just fully embraced the awareness of trauma and how their children that come in through that door and from the moment sometime they get on the bus and they're engaged in their school, that they are coming into those classrooms dysregulated from their trauma. And Caddo Parish has a very strategic plan in which they are going to be rolling out in layers, so to speak, how trauma in the school system. And this is going to be in all 61 of their schools. Trauma initiative, again, of understanding the trauma impact on their students. And then in the second layer of rollout, to my understanding, will be that TBRI, which will give those individuals in the school hands-on skill sets, that when that child might be in the cafeteria and suddenly they've smelled something because their sensories are overloaded and they smell something and they might melt down, what would that cafeteria worker do? What would the attendant do in order to help regulate that child and cause minimal disruption without, within the other students and what's going on there?
The acting out by the children, is that how it manifests itself in terms of the biggest problem you see with your 5?
It can. One of my daughters is incredibly well behaved, and she just has a fuse that's 2 centimeters long. Her stomach will start hurting, and she just can't regulate herself. I think the behavior is most often what we see. The traumatized child in the lunchroom will have a kid come up behind him and say, "Hey, buddy, how are you?" And he'll turn around and hit him because he thinks he's trying to take his food. The child that's not traumatized will have a buddy come up to him and say, "Hey, buddy, how are you?" And he'll go, "Buddy, I'm doing great," because he knows he's going to get his next meal.
And this is just as much instinctively because of the background from which they come.
Yes.
In other words, it sort of goes beyond what they logically know to something inside.
Absolutely. When Miss Lucinda was talking about different parts of the brain, in the bottom part of the brain, if you talk about the hand model of the brain, you have your prefrontal cortex at the top where your fingertips are, and what's at the bottom?
It's just that lower
Just
staircase of the brain.
lower
Yes,
staircase
I
of
can't
the
go
brain.
medical for you.
Where I keep all my ideas. Go ahead.
Yes, and then you have the amygdala that's in between, like if you fold your thumb across your palm. And children from hard places operate in that lower portion of the brain. Their amygdala gets so inflamed, that's the fight, flight, or freeze portion of their brain, that they, instead of being closed and able to think about their decisions, their lids flipped, if you will, and they can't move to make these decisions. They act very instinctively.
And
so what do you do to help them? What are some of the keys for teachers and for caregivers? What do you tell them?
The first step through TBRI and that we learn is the most vital thing is you've got to take a moment to connect with that child. In other words, you have got to perhaps mirror the body behaviors. If it's a little child, you need to get on their level.
So you've got a 3 or 4 or 5-year-old, which are many times not the most logical of creatures. And if they are reacting instinctively to something they knew, how do you connect with a 4-year-old and explain to them in that instant the world here is not the world from which you come?
I'd like to field a lot of that to Claire to share on that, but it wraps back around to a word that we call felt safety. Our children, there's one thing in understanding something intellectually, and another to where it really connects to the emotions and to the heart. We have many children that come into care that are hunger insecure, meaning they don't know where their next meal is coming from. They can be placed in a foster home such as Claire and Josh Cox and know instinctively they're going to get fed. There's no question, and they're going to have regular meals and they're taken care of.
But that ain't how it works.
That's not how they think, and they might find these same children that were wanting to hoard food, or they come to the table and they are eating like ravenously because they think this could be it. So until that child feels safe, they cannot trust. And our goal, again, trust-based relational intervention, is to connect and as quickly as we can. Sometimes it has to be very quickly if you're in a school setting or in a setting, and create that trust through connection.
Is this, curable is not the word, is this something that can be completely corrected and fixed?
Turned around.
Yes.
I like, I'm a counselor is my day job. I work for the Center for Children and Families. And what I like to say is, our life is like a book, right? So if I have 5 children and the first 1 through 3, 5, 13 chapters of their life is covered in mold, I can close that book, shove it under the table, and treat them like they're normal kids, and that mold's just going to keep growing in the dark, right? But if I can open that book up and shed light on it, and we can help work through these really hard times, that mold's never going to go away. Those pages are stained, but it will stop growing, and we can turn the page and read the rest of the story.
This is basically, and I go back to our conversation with Judges Young and Matlock. This PTSD theory thing, and I'm not belittling it at all, just the opposite. This is a relatively new development. This is something relatively new, right? Or does it go back a lot longer than folks might realize? Or is it just being to the point where it's accepted and being implemented?
I think the awareness. I think obviously it goes back, I'm guessing, I'm not, again, a medical professional at all, and where that research really began and that understanding through veterans and now through our children from hard places. But most certainly it is a heightened in awareness for our medical community in Caddo Parish to really wrap around this and look at this in a very heightened way, and our schools to roll it out, and TBRI and Calming Studio in our court. We're on the cutting edge, I think, in so many ways. Louisiana is typically in the top 5 for child abuse and neglect. Our Northwest area often is number 1 in the state for child abuse and neglect. So we are putting together, there's such a vast community of folks that are working this out, and to address how can we help or can we change this.
You need volunteers, I guess, right?
Well, we need volunteers, but in the theory of the brain is very plastic. So there is this chance that when we can get a child early enough that, we can help relook the wiring of the brain through nurturing and caring and trust and connection. And through our lifetimes, our brains are growing. That prefrontal cortex is developing. But this I think it's just a huge amount of awareness that is a great thing to be happening.
Volunteers for Youth Justice website, please, ma'am.
www.vyjla.org.
And if anybody listening is inspired by Miss Claire and her husband and 5 foster kids, where would they find out more about that? Do you know? How did you get in touch? Was it through the job, or how could they find out more? What would you suggest?
Find out more by calling DCFS. So that's 1525 Fairfield Avenue. I don't know the phone number.
You can look it up.
If you want to track it down, you can track it down.
Yes, but becoming a certified foster parent. My husband and I were both passionate about children while we were dating. That was just something that I knew adoption would be a part of our story. I just didn't know how. And we called the state building multiple times and asked home development, what do you need? Do you need money? Do you need clothes? And the home development lady kept saying, well, we need foster parents.
How many?
Yeah, but
you got 5. How many more could you take on? I mean, do you really talk about, we could do 6.
We could take 6.
We could do 7.
No, the law is 6. So homes like ours, we have severe cases of abuse.
Can I ask you a question? You're going to probably throw
Gotta go fast, ladies.
something
Less
at
than
me.
a minute.
Sorry.
You're doing it for the money.
Oh my gosh.
Throw something at me. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I know.
I'll throw something
Please.
at you.
We hear that though. You hear, they're going to take in more foster because they make so much money.
In wrapping up, let me ask you that because we got to go. I apologize. If someone wanted to donate to help folks like Claire and her family who take on these kids, what would they do? How could they help out?
Change your perspective in our community. So many times my children are having meltdowns because they see someone that looks like somebody that hurt them, or they smell something that reminds them of that, and they'll melt down. And if I had a dime for every time somebody told me to spank them, then I'd be rich.
I got to let you finish. You're not in this for the money.
Absolutely not. There is no money in fostering. This is an act of service to these kids. I mean, the time and energy that goes into this, no foster parent in our community is doing this for the money. And if they are, they will be found out and they won't foster anymore.
It's minuscule. The dollars are minuscule compared to what it costs you.
Reimbursement is what the state's is. I mean, we have I put 1,000 miles on my car one month just driving to New Orleans for all these doctor's appointments for my kid.
Gosh.
I mean,
listen to Miles. Claire Cox, ladies, my pleasure. Thank you very much. And hello, Sasha. She's the calming dog.
Can we keep her?
Well, you can borrow from time to time.
Okay.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel traffic update now. Sports is on the way. Here's Ruben.
So far, so good traffic-wise in the Shreveport-Bossier City area, but that may not last for long. If you see anything, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
A good chance for some afternoon showers and storms to pop up across the Arklatex later today. A mix of clouds and sunshine. Scattered thunderstorms this afternoon, 92. Thunderstorm chances will continue through the night, low 73. More storms tomorrow, 90. Wednesday, sunshine, low 90s. Richard Wettig at the Weather Channel.
On 7 FM, 710 Keel Sports Time. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Saints put on the pad Sunday for the first time of training camp. Unheralded, and rookie wide receiver Emmanuel Butler continued his hot start in his long shot bid to make the roster. The 6'4", 220-pound rookie out of northern Arizona has the size that Sean Payton is looking for in his wide receivers. Major League Baseball, the Astros knocked off the Cardinals 6-2. George Springer homered to lead off the game. Jose Altuve and Jordan Alvarez also dialed long distance. For Springer, it was his 7th leadoff homer of the season and 31st of his career. The Oakland A's scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th to beat Texas 6-5. Marcus Semien homered to tie it up, and then Chris Davis walked with the bases loaded to bring in the winning run. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
.101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin. Yes'm?
I watched on YouTube this weekend the World Cup of a video game. What's the one I watched, Matt? What was it?
Well, you said Fortnite. I don't know if that's what you actually watched.
That was it. It was Fortnite. They had a World Cup championship of Fortnite. This 16-year-old kid wins $3 million. He became the champion playing Fortnite.
He's barely old enough to ride in the front seat.
They did it at Arthur Ashe Stadium, where there's thousands of people watching them.
Seriously?
Yes, it was a massive event, and I had no clue how big this was.
So basically, you spent time watching people play video. So you watch television of someone watching television.
Yes. And it was exciting. You're watching, I mean, these kids, I've seen my boys play Fortnite, but this was a whole nother level. I mean, these people it was incredible.
But you're watching people play.
Yeah.
I mean, ESPN did that thing for a while, and they may still, where they had some Madden championship, Madden football championship.
I don't know what, I was watching it live on YouTube.
And I'm watching this, and I'm going to say, wait a second. You're watching people watch TV.
But millions were watching it.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that.
Shocked
I'm not arguing
how many people were watching
this.
this.
If it has a value to people, if you can sell advertising time and you want to give away $3 million, it's your $3 million or whoever put it together, the promoter, etc.
I saw the third lead story on Fox News this morning about this World Cup of Fortnite. The millions of people who were watching.
Marky, your head is in your hands.
Well, you guys both act like this is a new thing. Championship video game tournaments have been going on for decades.
For a $3 million prize?
Yeah, I mean, they've had, as Bob said, Madden tournaments on ESPN. They've had all sorts of stuff.
Give scholarships in esports.
They went to the top 50. The 50th place kid, I think, made $50,000.
So for those of you who have like 6-year-olds who are thinking, damn little snowflakes need to be out there beating on each other playing football.
No.
Just buy them video games.
Do your thumb push-ups this morning, kids.
It'll pay for their college.
Yeah.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty. Let's see. Sean Hannity time right now.
Turn up your radio. Here's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
Linda's been down at Leavenworth. We've been really digging deep into the Clinton Lawrence issue, and we've followed this case now for many, many years. It's sad that there are a lot of these guys that have served this country. Here's a guy that is serving his country, takes over a platoon. A week to 10 days prior, a bunch of guys in that platoon, including their leader, are killed. They're killed by IEDs that were delivered by men on motorcycles. So in comes Clinton Lawrence. He's the new platoon leader, knows exactly what had happened to the platoon and how they lost members. And then what happens? a bunch of guys fly past the checkpoint on motorcycles. And then it turns out later there's other evidence, like, oh, DNA evidence. Yeah, those two that got this guy sent to jail, the platoon leader, yeah, their fingerprints, their DNA all over IEDs.
Check out the Sean Hannity radio show later today, right here.
Hey, listen, when you're looking for a satisfying alternative to cigarettes, well, the whole search can be pretty confusing. Now, you walk into a store and you see a million different vape contraptions that, well, I didn't know the first thing about using, but that's when I discovered Juul, Juul, and now everything has changed. Now, Juul is not like any of those clunky vaporizers that maybe you've seen or tried, and it is by far the best I've ever used. It's simple to use. There's no buttons. There's no switches. Just insert the Juul pod and you're ready to go. And the best part is Juul has no cigarette ash. There's no odor or any mess. Now, I 100% recommend Juul. Now, if you're one of the 34 million Americans who smoke, you'll discover that there is a satisfying alternative to cigarettes. Visit Juul, JUUL.com/Switch America. That's JUUL.com/Switch America. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
1017 FM and 710 KEEL, the place to get in-depth coverage of the stories that matter.
Hi, this is State Representative Alan Seabaugh. The best place to get the stories that matter is with Robert and Erin each morning. I depend on them to get my day started.
We are KEEL, 1017 FM and 710 KEEL.
1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Fox News on the way right now. Traffic, here's Brandon.
So far, so good traffic-wise in the Shreveport-Bossier City area, but that may not last for long. If you see anything, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
A good chance for some afternoon showers and storms to pop up across the Arklatex later today. A mix of clouds and sunshine. Scattered thunderstorms this afternoon, 92. Thunderstorm chances will continue through the night, low 73. More storms tomorrow, 90. Wednesday, sunshine, low 90s. Richard Weddick at the Weather Channel.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 1017 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.
What? 1017 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin, just past 8 o'clock. Miss Erin has local news in a second or two.
Lots to talk about this morning, including an overnight shooting. We'll have more on that. A woman drives her car into the Red River. She's killed. Her body's now been recovered. We'll have that coming up, too. And struggling to save money, some tips on how you can do better.
Shreveport Deep State. You've heard the term deep state?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have a deep state here in the city of Shreveport?
Uh-oh.
We will discuss. Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather. It's all coming up this hour right here on Keel.
The Keel Morning Report, now on 1017 FM and 710 Keel.
A woman has died after driving her car into the Red River. Authorities still investigating the death of the elderly woman who drove the car into the river Saturday night. She's been recovered. Her car has also been recovered. A teenager shot Sunday afternoon. The 18-year-old shot in the chest near the 3100 block of Lancaster. The wounds considered life-threatening. A GoFundMe page has been set up for the LSU Library. Matt Parker with that.
LSU grads, on behalf of the LSU Foundation, have started a GoFundMe page to pay for a new library on campus. According to the page, the library is well over 50 years old, has been neglected for years, and is starting to fall apart. The group hopes to raise $20 million to build a new state-of-the-art library. The organizers say that they are happy donors stepped up for the football team, but it's time for the rest of us to do our part. From 1017 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
The road to the Olympics runs through Shreveport Bossier. Volleyball tournament being held this weekend at the Century Link Center. The USA team, one of those participating. A private school coach arrested for allegedly having an improper relationship with a student. Stephen Weir, the head basketball coach at Riverdale Academy, has been arrested in Kentucky. He'll be brought back to our area. Super ATV's new manufacturing and distribution center in Shreveport is now open. It will employ 75 workers. The Indiana-based company specializes in aftermarket parts for ATVs and UTVs. North Louisiana Economic Partnership President Scott Martinez says Super ATV is a great addition to the sportsman's paradise.
There are lots of people with side-by-sides and ATVs here. They're always wanting to do add-ons and customize them, and having a facility like Super ATV here in Shreveport really facilitates that.
Martinez says Super ATV's new Shreveport site will support product manufacturing and delivery across the U.S. A private school coach has been arrested for having an improper relationship with a student. Stephen Weir, the head basketball coach at Riverdale Academy, has been arrested for charges related to having an improper relationship with a young person. Specific charges and details have not been released. Investigators say their work is still ongoing, and more details are expected to be released soon. Bossier police are on the hunt for a man suspected of armed robbery. The suspect believed to have held up a person at an ATM on Airline Drive. After failing to get any money from that victim, the thief is then suspected of robbing the payday loans a few blocks away. The robber there got away with an undisclosed amount of cash. Bossier police working with the sheriff's office and state police to find the suspect. New child safety seat law goes into effect August 1st, and it's considered the best in the country by safety experts. State Police Lieutenant Nick McNally says the new laws reflect some of the best practices that safety experts have pushed for years.
All the guidelines can be found on our Facebook pages, our website, and most importantly, the Louisiana Highway Safety Commission's page.
The new law requires anyone under 13 to ride in the back seat. He says the idea behind the law is not to add any more grief or inconvenience for parents, but to keep kids in protective categories even longer. A mass shooting at the Gilroy Garlic Festival in California. 3 people plus the gunman are dead. 15 people have been wounded. And they had the big World Cup of Fortnite, the video game. A 16-year-old from Pennsylvania is the ultimate winner, taking home $3 million. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Time for traffic right now.
Traffic still moving mostly smoothly through the Shreveport-Bossier City area, but that's probably not going to last for very long. If you see something, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
A good chance for some afternoon showers and storms to pop up across the Arklatex later today. A mix of clouds and sunshine. Scattered thunderstorms this afternoon, 92. Thunderstorm chances will continue through the night, low 73. More storms tomorrow, 90. Wednesday, sunshine, low 90s. Richard Wettig, get the Weather Channel.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. The KEEL app is a free download presented by Office Furniture Source. Beginning of last hour, we had Caddo Coroner Todd Toma on, Dr. Todd Toma, and he was talking about the soon-to-go-into-effect Louisiana law I mean, there's a whole bunch of like little clauses, paragraphs, parts of this law, but the one that kind of caught my attention was youngsters under the age of 13 will be forbidden legally to ride in the front seat of a vehicle. Is that basically it?
Yeah.
Now, if there's no back seat, like if Dad's got a Corvette or a Porsche
or a pickup truck with no back seat,
you can ride in. They can ride in the front.
And that's how the law's been, except it's been 12. So we're just changing it one more year, bumping it up. And
would you be okay with 14? It's going to be under 13. Would you be okay with under 14?
Whatever makes kids safer. I think.
Oh, it's all about the kids. So at what point? At what point is government overreach to keep the kids safe? Look, I'm not arguing that. Todd made the most articulate argument a man could make about traffic safety and kids. What is it? The rear-facing child seats and stuff like that.
I think back to when we implemented the seatbelt law. How many lives has the seatbelt law saved?
Interesting you mention that. Okay, so I have here the state speed limit chart. And basically, I think most people are for. We're for government intervention, government action, until it affects us. So, I have here, see, you can say it keeps the kids safe, but you don't have any kids under the point I made with Todd. And he refuted my point in a heartbeat. I said, well, I know that I know grown-ups. How's about we just put a size on it for you? Because I know 8th graders that are bigger than grown women. What about a 5'1", 100-pound woman? Grown woman, 30, 40. Should she be allowed? There's just as much danger to her as there is to a child in many cases under the age of 13. Should you make that grown woman ride in the back? How's about helmets? Why don't we just mandate helmets? If it's all about the kids and it's about keeping them safer, well, that's not a bad idea, thinks Erin, because none of that affects me.
Right.
State speed limit chart. Rural interstates. Alabama 70. Arizona 75. Arkansas 70. California 70. Colorado 75. Connecticut 65. Idaho 80. Louisiana's what, 70 or 75? Now, I don't know. The signs are up. The point being, if I could make the case, if someone far more educated and knowledgeable could make the case that it would save the children, would you be willing to drive 55 miles an hour from here to Dallas?
Ta-da! I wouldn't mind it being the law. And if I wanted to disobey the law, I pay the consequences.
So suddenly,
if I want to get a speeding ticket and pay the fine.
Your drive to Dallas, instead of being 3 hours and 15 minutes, becomes probably...
Who really drives the speed limit to Dallas? Who really does? I would say there's 70% of the motorists out there are speeding right now.
So what you're telling me is you're in favor, to save the kids, a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit on rural interstate highways across America because you'll ignore it.
If I have kids in the car, I wouldn't. But if I'm driving alone and I'm going to Dallas and I want to get there in a hurry,
but what if you hit a car with kids?
You got a point.
I'm just saying, if it's about the kids, if it's about saving lives, why not have a 50? Go back to the Nixon era.
That was about the gas. That wasn't about the kids.
I was just going to say, we're going to save fuel.
Yeah.
And I think children's lives are far more important than a couple of gallons of gas.
I don't know.
If you want to save the kids, remember during...
I know. You make a good point, but
remember during the 70s when they implemented the 55-mile-an-hour nationwide speed limit, and you would see photos of state troopers blocking both lanes of interstate highways, driving at 55 miles an hour so you couldn't pass. Would you be in favor of that once again to save the kids?
Well, I think cars are way safer today than they've ever been.
Okay.
And I don't think you would have to be that extreme.
But no matter how
I think
safe
that would
they
be,
are,
that
they'd
would
be
be as
safer at
extreme.
55.
That would be as extreme as saying all kids have to wear helmets in cars, which I heard some idiot say earlier today.
But if it would save lives.
Nah, I don't know that you could prove that. I don't know that you could prove that.
What if I could?
I'd be willing to
Todd
consider
talked about
it.
the basics of what was it, a NASCAR-like restraint for kids in some vehicles.
And that might not be a bad idea.
Okay,
I wouldn't
so
be against that.
Where does the government overreach, because you don't think it is, where does the government outreach end if it doesn't end at the door of your vehicle?
I mean, do you believe we've saved lives with the seatbelt law? Of course you do. You'd be a moron to say no to that. So
if it's going to save lives,
what can we do next to save lives?
if it's going to put grown women in the back seat if they ain't big enough. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic update. God, that was awesome.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Traffic update. Here's Ruben.
Traffic still moving mostly smoothly through the Shreveport-Bossier City area, but that's probably not going to last for very long. If you see something, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
A good chance for some afternoon showers and storms to pop up across the Arklatex later today. A mix of clouds and sunshine. Scattered thunderstorms this afternoon, 92. Thunderstorm chances will continue through the night, low 73. More storms tomorrow, 90. Wednesday, sunshine, low 90s. We're Trina Weddick at the Weather Channel.
Give me a moment. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Monday Sports. Here's Tim.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Saints put on the pad Sunday for the first time of training camp. Unheralded, and rookie wide receiver Emmanuel Butler continued his hot start in his long shot bid to make the roster. The 6'4", 220-pound rookie out of northern Arizona has the size that Sean Payton is looking for in his wide receivers. Major League Baseball, the Astros knocked off the Cardinals 6-2. George Springer homered to lead off the game. Jose Altuve and Jordan Alvarez also dialed long distance. For Springer, it was his 7th leadoff homer of the season and 31st of his career. The Oakland A's scored 2 runs in the bottom of the ninth to beat Texas 6-5. Marcus Semien homered to tie it up, and then Chris Davis walked with the bases loaded to bring in the winning run. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
What do you think? Like 5'5", 125 pounds?
Golly, you need to stop that.
I just look. And Todd made the point, you can't possibly enforce a law like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it.
No, you can't.
And I might be taking it somewhat to the point of absurdity. But I don't think helmets is absurd.
Mm-hmm.
I'd put helmets on kids. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. It's almost football season. And I was going to talk about Ezekiel Elliott and the Cowboys, and we'll get to that. But evidently LSU now has started a GoFundMe. The fact that they have to ask rather than somebody be able to pick up the phone and say to a very, very wealthy grad, look, do you think I didn't see the LSU athletic department running a GoFundMe account to raise $28 million for football locker room renovation?
No.
Why do they have to have a GoFundMe account to redo the library?
Well, because they wanted to draw attention to it. That's the only reason.
The fact that they have to draw attention, doesn't that tell you that there aren't enough really, really rich LSU alumni who are willing to donate to rebuild a library?
Yeah.
Didn't need publicity to rebuild a $28 million football locker room?
No,
didn't
you just
they?
make a few calls to the right people.
Okay, so doesn't LSU have those right people? That's my question.
We should. Yeah, we should.
So why do they have to do it? Why do they need publicity? Why do they need to trumpet the fact that the library sucks, or we have moldy ceilings, or that the tile floor needs whatever it happens to be?
Yeah.
Or that, as Brian Salvatore said, what was the guy's name? Professor Mann.
Bob Mann, yeah.
If I get a dirt devil, it'd be like the end of the world. I could die knowing that I was dust-free in my office once every 2 decades. The point being, they've started a GoFundMe account because evidently they don't have rich alumni. Sorry, Chris Rock.
They do.
Wealthy alum. No, they don't.
They do have rich alumni. They just haven't touched the right people. They have tons of them.
So why aren't those alumni stepping up to rebuild the library, to rebuild the physical plant that is LSU Baton Rouge or LSU Shreveport?
I'm looking at the GoFundMe page now. This is sad. This breaks my heart. The goal is $20 million. Do you know how much they've raised so far? Guess.
Gonna play high-low?
Yeah.
$375.
Too low.
Is it 4 figures?
Yeah.
But barely?
Barely.
Is it under $2,000?
No.
Is it under $10,000?
It's
How
under
much? I don't know.
$5,047. That is so sad.
No, it's not. Well, I mean, it is.
We raised $28 million for the athletic complex in 2 weeks?
So my question.
Boom! It's done.
My question to you is, who are the people in the athletic department? Is it the Tiger Athletic Foundation or whatever the name of that thing is that seems to have money dripping from them?
Yeah, TAF is rolling in money.
So why isn't there an academic and or physical plant equivalent?
There's an alumni association.
No, Erin, there's not. You raised $28 million for a football locker room, and you've got a GoFundMe account to try to rebuild a dilapidated library.
Yeah.
So you can say LSU's got all these rich alumni, oil and gas and banking, but obviously somebody's not making the calls. And if they are making the calls, they're not convincing them. And if they're failing to convince them, then you've got literally, we started the GoFundMe account for. No, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, it is embarrassing.
Why don't you just get a cup and put on dark glasses, be Eddie Murphy and Trading Places?
And go sit in the quad?
Wheel yourself around.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, this is sad.
So why?
So sad.
Where you went there.
I know.
You stay in touch with people.
I'm an alumni. I get their mailings all the time.
So my question to
I
you
don't give
is,
them money. I
why
should, I
are
guess.
why are they able to raise $28 million for a locker room?
Because you have all those rich athletes who gave them money for that.
So you're saying that LSU doesn't? You just said they have rich alumni.
They do have rich alumni.
Who's not convincing them?
But perhaps they're giving, the rich alumni are giving for other causes.
Yeah, like a locker room.
Maybe they give to their own departments that they graduated from. And you don't think to just give to the library. Like I told you the other day, I'd give to the journalism school.
What's the
I would never think to give to the library.
What is LSU's endowment? Look that up real quick.
Oh, it's huge, I'm sure.
Evidently not huge enough to build a library.
Let's see. LSU endowment.
I mean, when you looked at the deferred...
$845 million.
When we had that last week, I don't know if it was Thursday or Friday morning when you were gone. The point being, we had the chart that had what was it, deferred maintenance. And LSU was something like, $500 million in deferred maintenance.
But you look at the Texas A&M endowment, $13.5 billion. LSU's is $845 million. They got twice as much almost at
Okay.
A&M.
Let's do this if nothing else. Let's take some money from that endowment. How much was it?
$845 million.
And let's pay some really good marketing people to call the really rich people and convince them that you need a new library.
You need a new library.
Because if you can raise $28 million
in the athletic department like that
for a football locker room, and you've got a GoFundMe account.
Can we get some library pods with this new library too?
101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Local news up next. Here's Ruben.
Traffic still moving mostly smoothly through the Shreveport-Bossier City area, but that's probably not going to last for very long. If you see something, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
A good chance for some afternoon showers and storms to pop up across the Arklatex later today. A mix of clouds and sunshine. Scattered thunderstorms this afternoon, 92. Thunderstorm chances will continue through the night, low 73. More storms tomorrow, 90. Wednesday, sunshine, low 90s. We're Trina Weddick at the Weather Channel.
Of information. KEEL News now.
Festival goers ran in terror as they tried to get away from a gunman who opened fire at the Garlic Festival in Gilroy, California, just outside of San Jose. One woman says her boss and her boss's husband were among the victims.
She got shot in the leg, and she's at the hospital in surgery. Her husband got shot three times, and he's in the hospital right now in critical condition.
At least 4 people have died, including the gunman, 15 others wounded. A manhunt underway for a second suspect. LSU grads, on behalf of the LSU Foundation, have started a GoFundMe page to pay for a new library on campus. According to the page, the library is well over 50 years old. It's been neglected for years and is starting to fall apart. The group is hoping to raise $20 million to build a new state-of-the-art library. The organizers say their happy donors stepped up for the football team, but it's time for the rest of us to do our part. A woman has died after driving her car into the Red River. Authorities still investigating the death of the elderly woman who drove the car into the river Saturday night. She's been recovered. Her car has also been recovered. A teenager shot Sunday afternoon. The 18-year-old shot in the chest near the 3100 block of Lancaster. The wounds considered life-threatening. The road to the Olympics runs through Shreveport-Bossier. Matt Parker has that.
A volleyball tournament at the CenturyLink Center this weekend will determine one of the teams who will be playing in the 2020 Olympics. This is one of only 6 qualifying events in the world, and it is the first one to ever be held in the United States. The global event will be televised on NBC Sports and is expected to have a $1.2 million economic impact on our area. For more details on the event, visit our website, keelnews.com. From 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
Nationwide, people struggle to save money. A CNBC survey shows 75% of Americans refuse to seek out help regarding financial planning. Financial advisor Pete Bush believes there are a variety of reasons why.
You could equate it to going to see the doctor for an annual physical or something like that. Maybe it's embarrassment, maybe it's fear of the good, bad, and the ugly that they may hear from an advisor or something like that.
Bush says financial advising is all about confidence. Saints quarterback Drew Brees is going through his 19th training camp, and Houdats hope it's not his last in black and gold. But Brees says he's continuing to fight the signs of aging.
I feel like I'm pretty aware of what you lose with the aging process, right? And so everything I do from a training perspective, recovery perspective, is to combat that, right? And so you just try to stay ahead of that curve, right? Stay ahead of that curve. And so far, I feel like I'm beating it.
The 40-year-old Brees is the fourth oldest player in the NFL. Bossier police are looking for an armed robber. Suspect believed to have held up a person at an ATM on Airline Drive. The thief also accused of robbing the payday loans a few blocks away. And speaking of robbers, they're looking for the Pink Lady Bandit. This is now a nationwide search. The woman, who usually carries a pink purse, has robbed at least 4 banks in 3 states. She's gotten away in each case. Her last holdup was in North Carolina. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 Keel.
Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Jack Spring electric shockbuster button. Did you see the story about the kid that found, what was it, like a brontosaurus head or something like that?
Triceratops.
Was it a triceratops?
Really?
Which is yes.
Where?
In some state park somewhere. I don't know.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know if they get to keep it. I don't know if the state's
I doubt it.
And you could auction it off on eBay. Who wants it? It'd be like a Beatles sheet from the early 60s. No, I'm serious. Where you cut it, or like a Tom Brady football jersey. If you cut it into 1,000 pieces.
And sell little hunks
I
of it?
would be selling little bitty chips of a triceratops skull on eBay at $150 a piece.
Oh, my goodness.
The reason I said the Jack Spring electric shockbuster button is like, I don't want to say it's like a dinosaur. It just hasn't been used and or seen in a while. But that is a good thing because it means you are managing to keep a lid on all things Erin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're putting up a post online, keelnews.com, about the LSU GoFundMe account to try to build a new library or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Attention, LSU alumni.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a brand new $28 million state-of-the-art football locker room. You've got a brand new spells out LSU lazy river.
That was paid for by student fees.
And your library sucks.
The library's dreadful. It's still the same as when I went there. years and years ago.
Maybe if you'd paid your overdue fees.
Maybe so. Yeah, maybe so.
What do you think about this Ezekiel Elliott holding out thing for the Cowboys? Do you have any feeling about that one way or the other? I know you're more of a Saints fan.
He'll come back. He'll come around.
Oh, you think?
You don't think he's coming around, Matty?
Not unless they break him off. The guy from that sat out last year, Le'Veon Bell, has set a precedent where, I'll just wait it out and I'll get a huge payday and save my body.
Do you think there's, speaking of saving the body, do you think there's, to use the word again, hypocrisy on the part of NFL owners who, on one hand, are so, at least publicly, player safety, concussions, all the cerebral stuff or cerebellum-related stuff, and yet they're pushing for an 18-game season?
I don't know that that'll ever happen. The players are not going to let that happen.
What if wait a second. What if they gave guaranteed contracts? What if the owner said, those guaranteed contracts that you guys are willing to strike for, or at least you're publicly saying, when the CNB, not the CNB, the, help me out here, what are the initials? CBA,
Yeah.
CNB. That's a bank. So basically, if it's something that publicly the players union says they're willing to strike over, and the owners want more games, what if that? Would that be? No. Are you kidding? The players union has proven they'll sell out the players in a heartbeat. The owners have proven they'll sell out the players in a heartbeat.
I don't know.
The players aren't going to, whatever happens, the players won't strike.
Ezekiel will be back. I promise you.
You think so?
He'll be back. Yes. He will be there on game 1. Maybe not the preseason, but he'll be there for opening day.
Without a renegotiation?
There'll be some negotiation. There'll be a little bit of change.
So the Cowboys are going to fold.
They'll come to what is it called? A compromise.
1017 FM 710 Keel. $220 million bond issue. Does that have anything to do with fouling up the tax forms at City Hall? We will discuss next. Right now, here's Brandon.
Traffic still moving mostly smoothly through the Shreveport-Bossier City area, but that's probably not going to last for very long. If you see something, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
A good chance for some afternoon showers and storms to pop up across the Arklatex later today. A mix of clouds and sunshine. Scattered thunderstorms this afternoon, 92. Thunderstorm chances will continue through the night, low 73. More storms tomorrow, 90. Wednesday, sunshine, low 90s. Richard Wettig at the Weather Channel.
.117 FM, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, Shreveport Security Systems text line 318-392-1884. So you've had time to think about this. Couple of hours. I had brought up earlier this morning. I said, is there in your mind any kind of connection between the proposed $220 million bond issue that could be, let's walk through that a second. The city council, the Perkins administration has proposed a $220 million bond issue that could be on the ballot by November.
Yes.
Next step is it has to pass, has to be approved by the city council. Traditionally, because you were on the A&E committee, you got your finger on this
for a hot second
but it was an incredibly effective nanosecond.
Yeah.
So basically, historically, how much change to the mayor's detailed bond proposal and the funding, where it's all going to go, about how much change do you anticipate the city council will make? And if that's the case, how does it work? What's the process? Do they throw it back to the mayor? Does it come back to the city council? How much compromise, how much negotiation goes on between those two bodies?
Well, the final decision is the city council's, and they draft what's going to go on the ballot. And if the mayor doesn't like it, he can veto it. He can't go in and make their changes.
That's my question, and he wouldn't necessarily veto it because he didn't think it was a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
He would veto it because he didn't like the changes that they made to his idea.
Or he didn't like the election date they put it on or whatever. If he wanted it on a different date, he could do that.
I had read a couple of times this weekend, the city council will be voting or could be voting on the mayor's bond proposal as early as next month, i.e. August, which is only a week away. But my question is, how long could this back and forth, and is there, I don't know, is there sort of behind the scenes negotiation going on right now between the mayor's office and the city council?
Oh, yeah. There's lots of discussions about what needs to be on there.
Well, we already have a strained relationship between Nicholson and Perkins. Do you think that those two are negotiating? I'm not so sure.
They're probably having some email interchanges, I would assume, about what must be on there. What are the priorities? I would assume,
or the reallocation of the funds.
I would, if I were a council member, I would like to see the mayor's top 10. Give me your top 10, top 20, something like that, of things that you are must-haves. And then I would want to see my fellow council members' top 10. What are your must-haves? Let's see how those lists compare first, and then let's go with those. And then the others, as we have funds, as we want to go out and ask for funds, what else should be included?
So does giving the Shreveport machine $220 million in the wake of the machine not being able to properly fill out tax forms for more than a decade concern you?
Of course it does.
In other words, are those two somehow connected?
That's connected. How we handle the insurance matter is connected.
Now,
how we handle our water bills is connected.
Let's clarify. The insurance thing, that's on Adrian Perkins. The water thing, that ain't on Adrian. The tax form thing, the $189,000 fine, that goes back, according to CAO Fields Jones, all the way back to the Glover years.
Sure.
So, how many times have you heard me talk about, especially when it comes to the Louisiana state bureaucracy, what a machine it is, and how many times have you heard me say, let's assume, admittedly a grand leap, but let's assume for the moment that everybody in state government is honest and forthright and concerned and has in their heart of hearts the best wishes and hopes for the folks of Louisiana. I've said that. Let's imagine that for the moment. Give me that. But by the same token, is the machine, the bureaucracy of Baton Rouge, is it so big and so cumbersome and so plodding and yet so complex and involved that it's almost impossible, if not impossible, to dismantle? And do we, if nothing else, does this whole tax stuff where we can't get the forms filled out, where they can write a $189,000 check,
And nobody in the administration knew it was written.
That nobody seems to know about.
I have a problem with that.
Does that tell you,
Yes.
does that show you that there's this machine that is the government of Shreveport that is just as cumbersome and plodding and complex as the one in Baton Rouge?
I kind of feel like we're at the top of the roller coaster and we're in the front seat and we're coming down and the track ahead, there's a chunk of it gone. We need to know, can we jump the track or not? I don't know. I'm scared.
Did our conversation last week with City CAO Sharika Fields-Jones, did it allay your concerns? Did the thing she told us and all of our listeners, did it make you feel confident that that machine that is seemingly out of control, that nobody seems to know how it works and nobody seems to know how to stop it? We wrote a check. Remember, she admitted, yeah, shouldn't have happened. Somebody or the machine.
We shouldn't have even been fined after all, by the way. The state does not fine municipalities. That shouldn't have happened at all.
89.
Just
We
FYI.
We sent a check for nearly $200,000 to the state of Louisiana, and nobody in charge seems to know about it.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, if the machine, assuming everybody's honest and forthright and wants the best for the people of Shreveport, but is the machine so complex and so out of control?
Yes.
So do you feel at ease? Do you feel confident that giving them $220 million is a good idea?
We should be the show me state. Got to show me more.
Trust.
But verify.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Brandon.
Traffic still moving mostly smoothly through the Shreveport-Bossier City area, but that's probably not going to last for very long. If you see something, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
KEEL Weather Channel forecast: increasing clouds, got a chance of scattered showers, heavy at times, a bit later today. High today near 90. It is 79 degrees.
You're listening to American Ground Radio's Morning Minute.
On Friday, the Supreme Court said the Trump administration could use billions of dollars in Pentagon funds to build the border wall, overturning a lower court's nationwide injunction.
Why is this so controversial? I mean, you have the remarkably brutal MS-13 gang. Federal agents routinely nab people from the 4 places that the State Department classify as state sponsors of terrorism. Yes, using military funds is completely appropriate here. My only question is, why did it take the courts this long to figure it out?
And not all the courts have. There's still some other cases pending in lower courts that could slow down the process until the Supreme Court's forced to overturn them too.
American Ground Radio, where building a better America begins with building a better us. Return each weeknight from 6 to 7 p.m. with Louis R. Avalone and Stephen Parr on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL and streaming live at KEELnews.com.
Robert J. .101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin got an idea. What?
I just want to tell you one more time about the plane dealing guy arrested for battery on a police horse.
Yeah.
Happened sometime downtown this weekend.
He smacked it on the horse
Yeah,
ass
he
or
smacked
whatever.
the horse on the butt numerous times.
Yeah.
He's now facing charges of being drunk in public and battery on an officer.
That'll get you tased.
So basically, a horse's ass got arrested for smacking a horse's ass?
Yeah.
In a nutshell, I think that's 100% right. I've got an idea for a new video that because you're always looking for the next big money making idea.
Yeah.
That get rich quick scheme.
Oh, I love them.
I've got one
Nothing's
for
hit
you.
yet.
I've got an idea for given the fact that you messed your back up, threw your back out.
Yeah.
And you're still not 100. In fact, you're probably not even 20%.
No, I'm bad.
I've got an idea for because you say this is the wake up call. Now you've said that 1,000 times.
I know I have.
This is the wake up call.
This is it.
I mean, you're on the short side of 60. You should be able to
Pick up a bottle off the floor?
I'm just saying. Ready?
Yeah.
I've got an exercise video.
Oh,
we can do
Lord.
it. We can market it. We can monetize it on YouTube. Whatever
Okay.
the plan. Stretching for donuts.
Stretching for donuts.
Put a box of Krispy Kreme.
Ooh.
Put a box of Southern Made. Put a box of Dunkin'.
And then you just have to reach for the donuts.
Yeah.
Reach for the Bluebell.
Yeah. Stretching for Bluebell.
I like that.
A brilliant idea. An idea whose time has come.
Oh, I could go for stretching for ribeyes.
Best part of the show today. What do you think?
Whoo. I'm not really sure.
Dr. Todd was pretty awesome.
Dr. Todd was good. I liked hearing about the children who are impacted by trauma. There's a lot more to that we needed to touch on. We'll have more people talking about that because that's a subject that I really deeply care about. So
This $220 million bond issue proposal, you only need 4 votes. Cross Bayou, you only need 4 votes.
Oh, boy.
I am going to be intrigued or would be intrigued to know how much sort of behind the scenes back and forth there is between council members and the mayor's office about what they ought to do. Because we heard from a couple of former council people that it is sort of their responsibility to allocate those funds. Do you have one more thing? We got to go.
Police chief, it looks like that job applications are going to be starting to be taken today. So we'll see who signs up.
Congratulations, Matt Parker.
Woo!
Chief.
God bless our city.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Kim Commando.
2 years ago, the giant credit reporting firm Equifax allowed itself to get hit by hackers. Personal info, including social security numbers of 147 million people, was stolen. If you were a victim, you may be eligible for a $20,000 payout. Kim Commando with your Monday Consumer Tech Update, brought to you by SimpliSafe, the best security system for your home, period. Don't live in fear. Check it out today at simplysafekim.com. Last week, Equifax was fined $700 million. $425 million will go to the people hit by the breach. To begin your claim, search at eligibility.equifaxbreachsettlement.com. If you've had serious damages like unauthorized charges and the need to call in attorneys, you could get a big payout. If you're only compromised with no real damages, you're entitled to free credit monitoring for 10 years or $125. You have until next January 22nd to apply. I'm Kim Commando. Here's something to think about. Only 1 in 5 homes has a security system. Maybe because most home security companies, they don't make it easy. SimpliSafe is totally different. Their system protects every door, every window, and room with optional 24/7 professional monitoring for just $15 a month. One thing that truly makes SimpliSafe stand out is their video verification technology. Here's how it works. When your alarm is triggered, SimpliSafe's professional monitoring team views the video from your SimplyCam to confirm there's a burglar in your home. Once confirmed, they send the video to the police so they can visually confirm the break-in and get to the scene 3.5 times faster than with other home security companies. SimpliSafe and I want you to be safe in your home, so they're offering a great deal. Free shipping and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Go to simplysafekim.com. Protect your family today. That's simplysafekim.com.
Traffic still moving mostly smoothly through the Shreveport-Bossier City area, but that's probably not going to last for very long. If you see something, make sure you let us know. Call us on the Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
A good chance for some afternoon showers and storms to pop up across the Arklatex later today. A mix of clouds and sunshine. Scattered thunderstorms this afternoon, 92. Thunderstorm chances will continue through the night, low 73. More storms tomorrow, 90. Wednesday, sunshine, low 90s. Richard Wedding at the Weather Channel.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.